There we go. And now we're going to do this. We'll come back in a minute. All right, here we are, Dana. We got one viewer. Yeah. Welcome back to the WeDo podcast. Today, when we were making this podcast up, I told Jeff Daniel, I said, hey, we got to get Dana on the podcast. And it's the second season of the podcast, but she's here, guys. Dana's here. Welcome to the WeDo podcast, Dana.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. You were telling me before we started, walls are coming down over there, right?
Yeah, we are in a major demo over here, knocking down walls and putting in flooring and painting and expanding my practice. So I'm really excited.
That is awesome news. And we are live.
It's nice. I have great friends.
Yes. Yeah. I saw the pictures. You got a lot of your friends out there helping you. Well, guys, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you're watching and want to ask Dana a question, Dana is one of the top physical therapists in the area. She's also a fellow triathlete. So if she hasn't dealt with it before, she's going to be able to make sure that you have the answer that you need. So while we're chatting, if you have a comment or a question, please hit us up and I'll get it over to Dana and she can answer it for you. You ready to start some questions, Dana?
Sure.
All right, let's start with how you found triathlon. How'd you get into this?
All right. Well, we can blame that on my husband, who wasn't my husband at the time. So actually, I met this handsome guy in the gym on my lunch breaks. And as we got talking over all the repetitive lunch breaks I saw him for over probably 7 months. I started talking to him about triathlon. I had actually never heard of triathlon.
Okay.
And so he told me all about it. He was training for Alcatraz at the time. And he was on his way to the pool, really, when I started chatting with him. And I literally had never even heard of triathlon. I did college gymnastics, never heard of triathlon. And I was just intrigued maybe by that first. And then after we started dating, he's like, you're going to have to get a bike.
Okay.
And so, we can thank Johnny D for that one.
Well, which of the three sports did you have the most trouble going to? You know, like some people come from a running background or swimming. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I thought I was going to pick up swimming easy. I started swimming when I was 5 years old, meaning frolicking around a pool and jumping into the deep end. But no, swimming at 32 years old when I started was really challenging for me.
Yeah.
So still is. I mean.
Exactly. Who isn't? So what about, do you remember your first event you did? Was it a sprint or what was it?
Yes. It was Lake Underhill.
Okay.
We're in the Lake Underhill area. I'm trying to think of the name of the event, but we swam in Lake Underhill and we finished in kind of the downtown area. It was super fun. They don't have it anymore, but it was maybe there for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Yes, I came out of the water in tears, was about ready to quit. It was, I was so traumatized. There was all this seagrass touching my arms and it was a tread water start. It was, I was aiming for the first kayaker to pull me out of the water. And I calmed down for my 400-yard swim by the time I got to the first kayaker. But that was Lake Eola. I wish they still had that around. It was such a fun triathlon.
Yeah, I remember Jack Finucane was talking about that event the other day when I was speaking to him. So it brings back memories. What about that first bike? I started on a hybrid. How about you? What was your first bike?
Okay. Well, of course, if you know John and he tells me, like we're dating, you're going to have to get a bike. He takes me over to Dave's World Cycle and I picked out a Trek. And it was a woman-specific design. It was their entry-level triathlon bike, and it was tuned blue. And so I was more concerned about the color, and I know nothing about components, still barely do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a trek, and I rode trek for a very long time.
Now, did he get you in shoes right away, or were you?
Oh yeah, like I didn't even know there was an option. You know, like you get clips, you get a shoe. You have arrow. I mean, I didn't even. This was my instruction right off the bat. So right to clips. I took to biking right away. I mean, I loved biking.
Yeah.
Little did he prepare me for it was that swim as being entry level into the sport.
Yeah. So, do you have a favorite distance that you race though?
You know, it's a mix between. I like doing Ironman events, meaning I like half iron, I should say.
Yeah.
But I would say the most fun and my favorite is the Olympic distance.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm quite fast enough to make that the best distance for me in terms of my skill set, but it's the most fun, and that just not as many hours of training. You're not out there racing all day, and you have a good time at the end. Like there's some great races, Olympic distance out there.
Uh-oh, we got our first comment. Look at this.
Oh, where are we at? Found it. Oh, there's the husband responsible for all
this. So let's talk about, do you have a favorite that you do though? As far as
favorite race?
Yeah.
So St. Anthony's was our favorite for Olympic distance. So of course we've missed it with the pandemic and COVID. I would say that for Olympic, it was St. Anthony's. And then for half Ironman, Chattanooga had set the bar for me for a while.
Okay.
Until I did Oceanside last year, or the year before the pandemic in California.
Oh,
the 70.3. That was
I saw the pictures from out there. That was amazing.
Yeah. It has like 3 named hills, and they're horribly named about how horrible they're going to be.
Yeah.
And for a Florida girl now, it was an intense event. But it started with water that was 61 degrees. So if you could survive the swim, it was an epic day. Yeah. And I don't think I've ever been living in Florida for 20 something years. I've never raced in temperatures like that before, like perfect temperatures. Yeah. So I have to say Oceanside is probably my favorite half iron distance.
That's awesome. We're going to take a break from my questions because we got one for you. Madison, thank you for joining us. You have any recommendations for race nutrition? I keep getting locked knees going into my run off the bike.
Okay. Madison, it definitely probably has a nutrition component. So I don't know what distance we're referring to. The longer we go, the more those nutritional mistakes start to show up in terms of our racing and our performance. So if we're talking about shorter distance, the locked knees might be your running form off the bike or the cadence at which you run at coming off a bike. So if you can give me a little more feedback, I might be able to help you with that in terms of distance that we're talking about. If there's any particular distance for Madison's question.
Okay. Madison, if you're still watching,
Madison.
hit us back up again. We want to hear about that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting, and I've been now racing 14 years and just, I think, started figuring out my perfect nutrition plan to execute my best performance. It's very individualized, and it's very specific. Like my husband and I, okay, half iron. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yes, for nutrition and locked knees coming off the bike, we're probably under our calorie intake or our fluid intake. This is something that I've worked on for probably 14 years, trying to get half iron distance nutrition handled down. So for myself, it starts with my preparation days leading up to the event for race day nutrition. And that includes, I'm known to eat a big carbohydrate filled breakfast the day before my race. So if I'm racing on a Sunday, a Saturday, pretty much go to Waffle House and chow down with a huge carbohydrate meal. And I'm just kind of filling my glycogen stores, but I'm also getting it in my system early enough that I'm not getting any secondary digestive effects on Sunday morning or race morning. And then that evening I eat like a sensible dinner. And so then my plan really for racing, I start with an energy gel, probably 15 minutes before the swim. I do one that's no caffeine to start the day off, not with a heart attack. And then I have probably 3 bottles and a half iron. I'll go through 3 bottles on my bike. Each bottle on my bike has probably about 200 calories in it. And I drank no water when I race. I will take water in an aid station to like rinse my mouth out. But I pretty much, and again, because I'm racing usually in hotter temperatures, I'm saving all my water bottle holders for nutrition. And so I race with Herbalife. I use the CR7. which is more electrolytes, and I mix it with Carbo Pro for my longer events. So my calories in my bottles are about 200, and I do an energy gel every 45 minutes, like clockwork on the bike. So in a half Ironman, I'm getting in a couple energy gels. At the hour and a half point, I take in a Cliff Bar. I eat at least half of a solid because I actually start to get hungry on the run. And then I start my salts. If it's a hot event, probably the second half of the bike course, every 5 miles, I use base salts. And then on the run, again, I hit every aid station and I'm pouring a water over my head, a Gatorade in my mouth, every single mile. And I've learned to slow down through the aid stations to make sure I am getting ample nutrition. Because as I started to slow myself down and make sure I was actually taking in the intake and not just pouring it all over me, I started performing better on the run. But just knowing that it's a lot harder to get calories in your body running because of digestive upset, that, I mean, I'm a big fan of what your stomach can handle on the bike. You are just going to fuel yourself for a better run. So it could be just a little loss of hydration, just not enough fluids for you, Madison. Maybe your calories are down. Or not. And again, as I've become faster and started to perform better, I've actually had to up my calorie intake because I'm using my immediate energy stores quicker, it seems like. So I've had to kind of play around with that as my performance has improved. And then I am a big fan, and I've really encouraged the athletes that I work with. When I changed my running style off the bike is when the locked knees, quad problem went away. And I became a very high cadence, short step runner off the bike. And it was a profound difference, particularly for my triathletes and myself, because you are not in a fresh state. You are in a depleted state starting a half marathon. So you have to run with some running economy, some efficiency in terms of your gait, because you are pretty beat down already getting off a bike. So that might be part of the lock quads, is just running style off the bike. But we're usually always making nutritional mistakes and hydration mistakes. And I'm still making them, and I'm doing a lot better with it as my experience has increased in the sport.
Would you say that she should begin hydrating a little sooner too, like days before?
Yeah. Yep. That's a good point. So I'm drinking one of my bottles. You know, I start, say, Sunday race, an extra bottle on Thursday, Friday in the car ride to the event, Saturday I'm drinking it. So I'm kind of like preloading my body with fluids, and then a very, very carbohydrate rich meal Saturday morning. And I eat a real sensible dinner Sunday night or Saturday night, like chicken and rice. And then in the morning, I'm trying to force myself to eat like a bagel and peanut butter or like half a banana. So morning's tough, I know, because we have the race jitters and stuff. So yes, but to your point, definitely, I'm big on the fluid intake prior.
Yeah.
They say if you're doing it, and I might be wrong, but I've encouraged my athletes to listen. They say if you're racing a half Ironman distance and you don't have to pee at least once on the bike, you're underhydrated. So how's that? Are we peeing on our bikes, people?
There you go, Madison. I hope that helps.
I don't know, Madison. Sorry. But that's just being honest.
Yeah. And that's great. Great information, Madison. I hope that helps you. Let's go back. You said you were a gymnast growing up.
Yep.
What was that like?
So I started gymnastics probably 5 or 6, and I did gymnastics a couple of seasons in college. And so you're welcome. The discipline was similar in that I was used to training schedules that were pretty intense, like a couple hours devoted many days per week to my sport. And then I did compete in gymnastics in college, which is kind of ironic that my longest routine in gymnastics is 1.5 minutes, and I chose to move into Ironman. I mean, I probably should have tried sprint triathlons and maybe went from there, but which I did.
Yeah.
But just a much different sport, but it gave me, I would say, my strength, my foundation. And I'm going to say that's where my head game, which is super important in racing, came from, is my gymnastics background.
Yeah. Let's give you a second to brag a little bit. What's our PRs and stuff? Where are we at?
For what? Okay. Yeah. So
you made it to Worlds before, right?
Yep, I did. I made Worlds for 70.3. Well, for 70.3, it's 4:49.
Yeah.
And that might have been a little bit of a gift. It was Daytona, and I would say that course is probably maybe like a half mile to a mile short.
Yeah.
So like 4:40, I had a stud day though. Like I definitely raced well that day. So I can pull off something like that if it was a good day in perfect weather, which I did. So that's my PR for half Ironman, is 4:49. Yes, it was 4:49. Full Ironman is 10:36.
Wow.
And that was at Panama City.
Yeah.
And Olympic, I can't remember. St. Anthony, I don't even know, like 2:25. I don't know. Like, can't remember. Yep. Yeah. Well, I just remember marathons, 3:38.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of full marathon. I mean, I kind of prefer a marathon at the end of an Ironman, which is sad and pathetic, but I have done a handful of standalone marathons, 3:38.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you've been a physical therapist for a while now, right?
Yes, I'm at, let's see, I graduated in 2002 from PT school. So 19 years of practice.
Yeah. And you've seen a lot of sports injuries, I'm sure. What are some of the most common ones that we athletes make that, you know, with a little help, we could correct these errors that we're making?
Okay. So most of us, or a lot of us, have desk jobs by day, triathlon by night, or triathlete for our hobbies, but we get a lot of mobility restrictions from sitting at desks quite a bit. So we get hip flexor contractures, and we get tight calves from sitting. So I would say the big COVID injury that I saw with my triathletes in particular, and even tennis players at that, calf tears. So that was a big one this past season. And part of it's attributed to poor warm-up techniques as we age. And also a lot of it is just adaptive shortening from a lot of sedentary outside of our training lifestyle. So if you're working out training every day, 1 hour a day, but you sit at a desk the rest, we're still kind of falling into what's called sedentary lifestyle.
Okay.
So it's sad to think of it, but mathematically that's still a lot of adaptive shortening, tissue shortening that we're getting.
I've told some people that the only marathon we've been doing for the last year is the Netflix marathons, right?
That's right. Oh, but that's been fun. Come on and watch like Yellowstone.
Yes. Tiger King was great at the beginning.
I forgot about that one already.
Yeah. So, okay. So if there's one piece of advice that you'd give someone starting out, what would that be as far as injury prevention?
Oh, injury prevention. Okay. So I'm more of a journey person versus peer pressure to jump to the big distances. So I am a big fan of being patient with the sport. So nothing drives me crazier than a new athlete like jumping for the fuller distances. And I think they're missing out on just some key fundamentals for evolving as a triathlete, learning your body, learning your response to just adaptive training by picking shorter distance sports and really honing in our skills and learning a little bit about our body and running styles, nutrition, that type of stuff. So I would say a lot of my injuries for clients are coming from maybe moving a little too fast up the chain there in terms of race distance.
Are you a fan of the 10% rule as far as upping your run mileage and stuff like that?
Yeah, I like that. And then I'm kind of a big fan of the 80-20, like 80% of the time is kind of, not pushing the red line. And I mean, it might change a little bit as we get into our key training weeks, priming for a race. But I think a lot of people train too hard, too much, too often, and then they break their bodies down. And it just wasn't systematically kind of laid out with their annual training plan. And then they're getting hurt when it's really not necessary because they were maybe overshooting there. They say it's better to be 10% undertrained than 1% overtrained when it comes to things like injuries. So
that makes sense.
I'm not sure who they is, but people much smarter than myself.
Well, guys, we'll reset a little bit. This is the WeDo podcast. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're watching and have a question like Madison did, please hit us up. We've got Dana for another 15 minutes or so, or if we got a lot of questions, we'll keep going if that's okay with you, Dana.
Yeah, I'm great.
Let's talk about advice for a new triathlete. Like if brand new to the sport, what would you give them advice to start? I would go out and buy that brand new truck like John had you do, or what are we talking about?
John, did you hear that? No, you don't even know if your passion is going to be there for the sport. So I would say taking your time on, making progress through the chain. There's always, honestly, they say, oh, you can buy your way to a faster time. There's an element of that. Yes. In terms of obviously this bad carbon fiber bike, but do we really need that necessarily in the beginning? So I'm still going to go back to my best advice of taking our time progressing through the distances in the sport.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to throw it out there pretty quick on a bike fit is probably more important than the bike that you're on. So is that biomechanically that you're in sound positions, and that pretty much comes across the board with all three: swim, bike, run. So investing in learning some swim technique right off the bat instead of getting shoulder impingement because you've been throwing down the yards with bad swim form. These are the things, if I were to look back, it would have been helpful with me starting off as a little more assistance with form development early on before I had really bad habits. And then getting a bike fit. Of course, my husband knew better. And so he helped guide me into that right off the bat, like you got to get fit. But I see patients in here with back pain, neck pain, knee pain, and I can look mechanically at all the joints that are dysfunctioning, and I can help with the mechanics of their body. But then if they put their body back in a bad position for a 3-hour bike ride, we're kind of always pedaling backwards there or chasing our tail with injuries that are preventable by having things like bike fits.
We had Coach Camille on.
Yeah.
And he went and he did a bike fit on me. I've always kind of done my own thing, but he's like, let's do a bike fit. And so the first time we talked about it, the second time we came back and he actually talked about what he found, and it was amazing the difference once you get fit the right way. It's by far.
You're going to be more comfortable. You're going to be able to produce more power when that becomes something relevant to you in your training. And you're going to kind of hold off on some of those injuries. So just even a cleat position that's off and creates a little rotation in your foot that creates a knee pain. I mean, the hip bone's connected to the knee bone, connected to the foot. I mean, we're all connected. So when we click into a bike pedal, a lot of forces there are being affected by our positioning on the bike.
And you were mentioning buying speed. I want to hear about the bike. I know the story behind it, but please share with the audience about your latest bike.
I clearly found out you can't buy speed because I'm nowhere near as fast as her, even though I'm on her bike.
Yeah.
We joke about buying speed in that like race wheels and light bikes and carbon this and carbon that. And you still have to have a good machine on that bike. And then, it's helpful having the proper fit and the proper technology to aid all your efforts. And that's a progressive thing with the sport. But so for me, it only took getting hit by a car to get a really fancy bike.
And whose bike is it?
I'm okay. But yes, I did get hit by a car last July. And luckily, I'm friends with the bike law, the attorneys that represent cyclists. They're advocates for our safety on the road. And I did have a woman that decided it was important to check her mail right in front of me and took me out. And I was probably going about 20, but thankfully she wasn't going very fast. And I went across the hood of her car and she hit the expensive side of my bike and almost clipped me and John into a mailbox.
Wow.
Or the mail center, I should say. But with my husband's little investigative research, I was looking for a really extra small felt. And we only knew one person that was sponsored by Felt. That her name would be Miranda Carfrey. So for you newbies out there, I mean, that's a name you need to know.
Yes.
She's a badass, like former world champion 3 times, who happens to be a little bit taller than me and rides Felt. Cool. Lo and behold, she was getting ready to have her second baby. It wasn't known to the public yet. So she had a couple of her training bikes that they were going to put up on the market for sale. And so one of them fell in my price range that is now an amazing, awesome looking bike that has her name on the frame. So
awesome.
I'm definitely never upgrading technology from here because we're going to keep her bike.
Yeah. Did you see when she was competing in the virtual Ironman race and Tony clipped it and unplugged her trainer?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
And yes, the Tim and Rini show too. John follows along with that. We have Tim and Rini hats now.
Yeah.
All the entertainment that goes on there.
That's awesome. So
they're a nice family and it's an awesome bike. I do like riding Felt. This is my second Felt. The bike I get hit on was a Felt. So
So let's say money's no object. You and John can pick what dream race you want to go to. Where are we going?
Well, I want to qualify for Kona, so I'm not picking it if I could pay for it.
Yeah, there you go.
I would like to qualify for that one. Dream race, boy, I know. John, if you're listening, maybe you should pipe in there.
Yeah.
So we hesitate to do anything international. One, John and I are very inexperienced travelers.
Okay.
I mean, very inexperienced. So it's terrifying. I would say even more for John, like that we're going to pack up these bikes, go to the other side of the world, try to hope our bike is in one piece. Yeah. And then all the stuff that you put into racing Iron, I would love if I had, basically is what I'm saying, is if, yes, I had a infinite amount of money, I would like to race in another country and experience what it's like to.
All right. Here's John's reply.
There we go.
Yeah. Monterey. Yeah.
Okay. I guess Monterey.
There you go. That's where you're going.
Now, I think that's the one, John, is it has a look. It looks like an endless, like it's like the pool. It's not a normal swim. It's like a long, if you guys look that up, I think the swim course is like a crazy long, like, yes. Oh, it's in Mexico, but like, it looks like the lazy river.
Oh, does it really?
Yes. The swim course. It looks like a beautiful blue lazy river for 1.2 miles. It's crazy.
How close are you to qualifying?
So, for full Ironman, I've taken 2/3, and Ironman Florida, I was on the podium twice at third, and then I went to awards the next day, and it was top 2 that they took. Oh. So, year number 1, I missed it by 36 seconds, and year number 2, I don't know, maybe like a minute and a half, not far off. And then my third Ironman, I did, Chattanooga, and I took 5th place. So I was thankful for a podium spot, but I wasn't close to Kona at that one, which I was trying to be real strategic, thinking all the fast people were going to be at Kona, or prepping for Kona. So I picked a September Ironman thinking, everybody else thought the same thing. And like the fastest women ever showed up. It was the craziest competition I've ever seen. Yeah. So, and I think I'm getting to that age too. I'm having the pros that are rolling back to the age group that have I just turned 46 on Sunday. So I race 45 to 49, and we have some women now too, that I'll catch at some races that are, they near like destroy me, that were former pros at one point that maybe didn't qualify to Kona as a pro. So they're going back to age group, trying to get some Kona spots so they can experience Kona too. Yeah. So that's a phenomena. As you age, you start to experience some of that coming back to your age group. So you think you're okay, I'm getting older, it's going to get easier.
No, it does not get easier.
What the heck? Yeah.
I have a story about, you can see my Argon behind me here.
I can see it.
I had the previous model was Eleanor, my favorite bike ever. Yep. She made the trip over with Kevin Ferrick to race in Ireland and came back damaged.
See, this is our fear for traveling like uber far with bikes.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why I have the new one, but rest in peace, Eleanor. Yeah, we got to the sky.
Of course, exactly. I love how John's picking Mexico, but he'd be like terrified about like water in foreign countries.
Yeah,
and, right. That
you guys would bring your own water for the whole.
We'd be bringing our own water. John would be bringing his own water. But so international would be fun. But
what's the race calendar look like for the rest of the year? Are you going to be able to do St. Anthony's in the fall?
So I'm trying to remember. I know we have something going on, or why we're not racing that race, or weren't planning on it. I did qualify for Worlds, so I'm going to St. George.
Okay.
In September. I am new into gravel riding, and I want to do a gravel event in August. So I'm going to do the Belgian waffle event in Asheville. I'm going to ride the Wafer, which is 77 miles, which is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And new for me. I get tired real easy off-road. It's been phenomenal. And this is something we might talk about for just bike power on the road, is the off-road training. It's just crazy, particularly those gravel. Yeah. The gravel
I'm
riding.
loving it. You stand a better chance of not getting hit
the
mailbox when you're on the gravel road, right?
I know. I never want to give up my rights to the road. I think we belong there, and we have to work on that. And I'm so thankful for bike law for reasons like that. But I am enjoying the off-road experience, and it's constant traction on your tires. You are not getting a break back there.
Yep.
No stoplights, no coasting, like just resistance, and it's a beatdown. So I enjoy that. So I'm going to try that too in the fall. And then we're going to kind of go from there. My husband's doing Atlantic City.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So he's going to do that. And we'll see. I just raced 2 half Ironmans already this season. Florida and Chattanooga. You okay?
I'm good. All right. I'm back. Let's do some social media plugs. Where can people find out about you, Dana?
Oh, okay. Is that what you meant by social media plugs?
Yes.
This is clearly not my strength.
Yes,
I do
know.
have a social media page. I guess it would be Transitions Physical Therapy.
Okay.
And I think my handle for Instagram is Transition Sports PT.
Okay.
And that's about I have a YouTube channel. And I should preface this with, it's mostly short little videos that I use for prescribing my exercises for my clients, so that if they forget their homework assignment, I can give them a quick little video number like 37, 42, 51, go do your homework. So they're very brief videos. So more intended for my current clients that need homework assignments and follow through. So that's Transitions Physical Therapy, my YouTube, but I guess you could subscribe to that. Man, maybe I have 80 followers. Woo!
Hey,
I gotta start somewhere.
It's way more followers than I have.
I mean, I don't even know. I'm probably 75.
Okay. So before we go, I'm not surprising you, but I want to let you know we're going to play a game that I do with my friends, because I call it this or that. So I'm going to give you two
games, Billy.
I'm going to give you two. My goodness, I'm going to edit that part out. I'm going to give you two things. You're going to tell me this or that.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm going to say this or that.
No, you're going to give me, I'm going to give you two things. You're going to choose which one you prefer.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Piece of cake. And we even have theme music. Are you ready? So let's play this or that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Welcome to this or that. Garmin or Strava?
Strava.
Okay. All right. So you get to choose road bike or time trial bike. Which one are you choosing?
Time trial bike.
Yeah. All day, huh? Okay. Since you just had a birthday, cake or ice cream?
Cake.
Yeah. What kind?
Anything with chocolate, but I'm not picky when it comes to cake.
Okay. All right. And I think I know the answer to this one now, but 70.3 or 140.6?
70.3.
Okay. How about ocean swim?
Schedule.
Yeah. Ocean swim or lake or river swim? Which do you prefer?
Ocean swim.
Yeah. Okay. You and John are sitting down to watch TV. Is it a rom-com or an action movie?
Action movie, probably.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm gonna not lie. I don't even know what you. Oh, romantic comedy. Yeah, I am not that edgy. I didn't know. So I don't know. I like those two. I'm not good at this game, Billy. I told you. I can't make decisions. I am Gemini.
We got one more. PR on a race or beat John?
PR.
Very, very wise. And John says he prefers the action movie. Well, guys, we're going to wrap this up soon. Anybody else have any questions for Dana? She's here for us, guys. If you're watching, we've got 5 people watching right now. So if you've got a question, hit us up before we wrap this up, because I'm out of questions. So if you have one, hit us now, or we're going to wrap this up. All right. Well, Dana, thank you so much for being on the WeDo podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
That was fun.
All right. And I'm going to end the broadcast. Don't go away just yet.
Okay.